Well, we'll kick things off. Welcome everybody to another edition of our Kodiaks Coaches webinar series. What is this now, Todd? Number 4? This is the fourth. This is our new Wednesday tradition. The best part of the week, as far as I'm concerned. We've had some great sessions so far. So thank you to everybody who's joining us. Also see a couple of our Lethbridge College recruiters on, and Sarah and Chelsea. So guys want to give a wave, welcome to the call. And so if there's any prospective students that do have some kind of recruitment questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll get those answered for you. So yeah, everybody welcome. My name's Jamin Heller. I'm the social media and marketing coordinator for the Kodiaks. Proud to be joined by our manager of athletics and recreation services, Mr. Todd Coughlin. And today we are talking hoops with our Kodiaks basketball coaches. We have Deanna Simpson and a cute little addition there. We also have Coach Ryan Heggie. We got Coach Ken McMurray. And we also have Taylor Jedden joining us on the coaching side. And on the student athlete side, I see Matlin there. We got Nick Zerwanka. I see Jackson Casco. Who else we got there? And Kirsten. Welcome, everybody. And so, yeah, we're going to start this off with a bit of a round table. And by all means, for you attendees, this is definitely a session for you. So any questions that you have for either our coaches or our student athletes, feel free. You can raise your hand at any time. You can pop them in the chat. So we'll open it up kind of that way. So before we begin, just want to acknowledge that it is Green Shirt Day. So thank you to everybody wearing green on the call. No, it is tough to sometimes find a green shirt in that closet, but looks great. We're definitely inspired by our hometown hero, Logan Boulay. So Lethbridge College and the Kodiaks, we're proud to support Green Shirt Day, promoting the importance of organ donation. Definitely recommend visiting greenshirtday.ca to learn more about registering to be an organ donor. So we encourage everyone to register, tell your family, have that conversation, and be inspired by it. And then we also want to give a shout out to our sponsors this week, Casco Cattle and Schaefer Plumbing and Heating. Thank you for sponsoring. We've had some great sponsors for our webinar series so far. So thank you for helping make this session possible. So why don't we do some introductions to kick things off? And why don't we start off on our women's basketball side? We'll go to Coach Deanna Simpson. If you want to just give a bit of an introduction, how long you've been with the team, and we'll take it from there.
All right, I'm Deanna Simpson. This is my daughter, Josie. It's not quite bedtime yet, so we are trying to extend that as long as possible. I've been with the Kodiaks for 8 years, both as a student athlete and a coach. And I was happy this year to have Ken join me as a co-coach, co-head coaching scenario so that I can make sure to spend some time with my daughter.
Perfect. And with that, we'll hop over to our co-head coach, Ken McMurray. Ken, why don't we get a little introduction from you?
All right. Well, I'm a former Kodiak. I played back in 1981. That's a long, long time ago. Enjoyed my year there, and then I went on to play for the Pronghorns across the river. And then since then, I've been in Cardston and coached mostly boys for most of my career, and then did a stint of probably 5 years with the girls in Cardston. And I was just fortunate enough to join the Kodiaks halfway through the 2020 year, and Deanna asked me to come on, and then I've stayed with it, and just real excited to still be with the Kodiaks.
Absolutely. No, it's been great to have your experience aboard. It's been really great so far. Moving over to our men's side, we'll have Coach Ryan Heggie introduce himself here. And he might be on mute. Uh-oh, first one of the night.
How's that?
Hey, sounds good.
First one of the night. I was working on my laptop for 5 minutes. This is the second one. I'll count on TJ to go for the hat trick. My name's Ryan Hagee. I'm from Raymond, Alberta. I'm married. I have a wonderful wife that allows me to coach and chase those coaching dreams. I have 3 daughters, and I'm a grandfather recently, a few months ago, so that's been awesome. I've been with the Kodiaks since 2011 and 12 season. So I've seen quite a bit over the years as far as the basketball league itself, players, different groups of players. I guess you would say different eras of players, different eras of leadership. So I've seen a lot. I'm still learning a lot every day. And I played for the Kodiaks like Ken back in the 80s, and also moved over to the U of L to play for the Pronghorns. And I'm just very fortunate to have this coaching position, because it's a passion that I really enjoy.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach, and congrats on becoming a grandfather there. That's awesome.
Thank you. I know I don't look like a grandfather, but people keep calling me grandpa, so I'm like, I guess I got to get used to it.
I put it in your Zoom
Just
bio
the name.
there.
Just the name, right?
All right. And we'll go to TJ with a bit of an introduction here.
I've been with the program since 2011 as well. I played for 5 years for the college and then couldn't get enough of it. So I went and helped Ryan coach. Been with there for 5 years at the program. I'm actually a golf pro down at the country club. That's what I do for a career right now. And looking forward to finally getting back to normal, and we can play some games and maybe with some fans and, enjoy the game again. So looking forward to it.
Perfect. No, thanks for joining us tonight, coaches. So, all right, before we get going to the roundtable, let's introduce our student athletes. And we really enjoy having student athletes on our panel. Last week, I think our soccer student athletes provided some really great insight. So looking forward to more of that again today. So we'll start with Matlin there, and we'll make it easy on you. If you just want to say your name, your position, your hometown, and then your best Kodiaks memory so far.
Okay, my name's Madeline Jacobs. I'm from Cartston, and I already forgot the other question.
No worries. Position, and then your favorite Kodiaks memory so far.
My position, I play just like a shooting guard or point guard. And then my favorite memory so far, I don't know, probably beating Olds last year. They were the #1 in Canada, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was a pretty special moment. It's pretty hard to beat that. All right, we'll go to Kirsten next. Name, position, hometown, and your favorite Kodiaks memory so far.
I'm Kirsten Farwagen. I'm from Lethbridge originally. I played for the college for 4 years. I play center or post. And favorite memory, I don't know. I don't know if I can isolate one. I don't know. Beating Olds was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome for Matlin individually, I think. As a team, it was pretty awesome. But I think making it to playoffs again was pretty great.
Lots of good memories to choose from there. Yeah. All right, Jackson Casco, Mr. Kodiak, one of our veteran Kodiaks here. If you want to give name, position, hometown, and your favorite memories so far.
For sure. I'm Jackson Casco from Coaldale, Alberta. I play combo guard, and I've had so many great memories with the Kodiaks. It's hard to choose. My favorite one was probably going to nationals during my first season. That was pretty special. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty fantastic trip out to PEI. Great opportunity for the team out there. And then we'll go to Nick up on the top of my screen here. Same questions to you.
My name is Nick Trawanka, This would be my second year with the Kodiaks. I am from Calgary. I play like small forward, stretch four, either or. Favorite memory with the Kodiaks? I mean, last year I only played the 1 year, so I haven't been to nationals when Casco went. But probably blowing out Sate in Sate the second half of the season was a lot of fun. Just being from Calgary, and I felt like I knew half the stands, so having a performance like that at home at home for me was a lot of fun. That or when we got the number one ranking was special for sure.
Absolutely. Tons of great memories packed into that first year there, and always a great rivalry with State. So that's fun. So thank you, everybody. That's great. We're just going to do a quick poll now to kind of get a feel for who we have in the audience here. So just what describes you best? I'm going to launch this now. So whether you're a high school athlete, current post-secondary athlete, coach, or just a Kodiaks fan, give you a few more seconds to vote here.
This is not good. Maybe if
Here we go. 5 Kodiaks fans. Let's share these results out. So that's great. A couple high school student athletes in attendance here. So that's great. Welcome to you. Definitely feel free to chime in with any questions if you want a coach's perspective, student athlete perspective. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. And thank you to all our Kodiaks fans too, 5 of them coming in. So it's great to have you all with us. And of course, we're going to be able to chop this up after we are recording so that we can post out some of the answers on our social media channels. So really looking forward to getting some insights here. So before we get started with the roundtable, Todd, do you have any opening words or anything you want to share about the webinar here?
Absolutely. First and foremost, just want to thank everybody for showing up. Like I said, the coaches come up with this idea, and what a great way to be able to connect. It's been outstanding, the amount of people that have been able to come and attend so far. But I think the biggest thing for me is Kodiak Athletics lives off of 3 pillars: academic accountability, athletic excellence, and the student athlete experience. The coaching staff has bought into it. They promote it, and we live and die by that. When I first got here, about almost 8 years ago now, we can't say that we were in the best academic positions for all sports. And that's one thing that's definitely changed. And it's a definite expectation that every student athlete or every Kodiak that comes in the entire department lives by. But it also results in winning. Look at some of the records over the last few years. The athletic excellence piece has definitely stepped up on every single sport. And so we're very proud of that. And then the student athlete experience. This is something that, we've really tried to take a big step in, and that's community involvement. Being an athlete's a great way to life, but it's not life itself. So what else is out there? How can we get involved? And you know what? You do those things and expect to do those things, you're going to fit right into the Kodiaks family. So we're looking forward to hopefully seeing a couple of potential recruits out there joining in, but I know that we'll get to the questions and the most important people on the call, which is not me. But welcome, everybody.
Perfect. So let's dive right in with a couple of questions to start it off. We'll start with our coaches. And so, Deanna, this first one will be for you. And then Ken, feel free to jump in at any point. Maybe just starting off by telling us a bit about the last season, I guess the 2019 season for your club, and just the direction you feel your program is headed overall.
2019 was a big growth year for us. We only had 5 returners, and I think the 2 on the call were my only 2 starting returners. Well, no, Kirsten didn't start the year before. So we didn't have I think Matlin was our only returning starter. Kirst played some minutes. One of our other returners played a few minutes. The other 2 didn't play very much. So we were rebuilding, and the girls really took that to heart. And first semester, we had quite a bit of an up and down. We'd see spurts of brilliance, and then we'd see spurts of the absolute worst basketball you've ever seen in your life. But I think one of the biggest things that is telling for us is in the first semester, we lost to Olds by 51. And in the second semester, we were able to beat them. And that is, a testament to our growth and the effort that the girls put in. And we were able to qualify for playoffs again. And I know Ken did some good research on what our playoffs were like. So I'll let him talk about that one.
Well, I joined like I said before, halfway through the season. And so I was really excited to just be part of the team. And of course, I watched the first half and saw the girls up and down season, but they really came together in like the last month, and they just started really playing really well together, giving up good shots for great shots, and just really playing as a team and playing great defense. And when we knocked off Olds, I think the girls realized that they could play with anybody in the country, and going to playoffs was just a real highlight for them. And Lakeland ended up winning the provincials that year, and we played them first game, and we were within one possession of probably knocking them off. And I think the girls really felt like they had some unfinished business to take, to look forward to. And so we had most of our girls return for this last season, and that was really, obviously for so many reasons, disappointing to not be able to see what we could do this year. So anyways, that's what 2019-20 was and for us, and we're just hoping that we get to play.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everyone's itching to get back to competition, and hopefully we're able to stay safe and make that happen sometime later this year. So we'll go to the same question on our men's side. Coach Heggie, obviously a really strong year for your team and lots of memorable highlights along the way. Why don't you give us a recap of your 19-20 season and kind of where you see your program headed right now? Uh-oh, and this might be number 3. There we go.
Jamin, you don't understand how I'm adapting right now. I'm on an iPhone, and I'm trying to keep it standing up with my one finger, right? And it keeps slipping.
Hey,
part of what I'm going to talk about today is adaptation. What can you do as a player to adapt to a program? So I'm adapting right now, I'll tell you that. And if I see any smirks from TJ, we're going to have a chat on the golf course. But can you hear me okay? Because I can't tell. Okay, great. So our 2019-20 season was I think it was one really for the books. Our team was very close-knit group of guys. They really played for each other. We had a league record of 20-1. We were undefeated on our home court, which was a first for any team that I'd ever coached since I've been with the Kodiaks. We finished at 22-2, 28-5 overall. We went down to the States and played some games down there, and we beat a team that we thought we needed to get back at for a couple of years prior that they beat us. Individually, we had some players really do excellent. Brock Dewsbury had an outstanding season, winning Player of the Year, a Rookie of the Year, an All-Canadian, academic All-Canadian. Orrin Porter was also named to a first All-Star team. Chase Bonney was in a tie for an All-Star. I don't know if anybody knows that, but he was in a tie for a second-team All-Star, and he got bumped due to just some voting technicality in the rule books. But he had an outstanding season as well. I thought we really represented the Kodiaks and really well that season. We didn't win a championship. That loss we had, it was a very hard loss. We lost to Nate, who who was a very good team, probably a very underrated team in the standings there. They just played better than we did in that one particular game. We give them credit for that victory for sure. I'll tell you, Jamin and everybody, one thing I was really proud of about the team at that tournament was sometimes in our system, when you lose your game or you get regulated to the consolation side, a lot of players just want to pack the season in and just kind of, keep kind of crying in their spilt milk, right? But we regrouped and we came out and we put the boots to the next two opponents. I shouldn't say Red Deer because we had a really good game with Red Deer to finish consolation championships, I guess you want to call it. But it takes character to do that, and that's what I really think about that 2019 team. We didn't hit our ultimate goal, but the way they recovered to win that consolation side. You know what Don Cherry says, Damon? You know what it is, right? It's not how many fights you win, it's how many fights you show up for, right? And that team showed up every night. I can look back and be proud of them for that. Where's the program going? Like Ken was saying, disappointed we didn't have another shot because we had the 5 returners coming back from that program and some new depth and some returning depth that was going to be awesome. But you know what? We're in the same boat as everybody else. We didn't get a shot at it, but next year our goal is always to get to the playoffs and compete for a championship. So that's where we're headed.
Perfect. I think Don would give the thumbs up to that. TJ, maybe just a quick word on follow up on that, just your impressions of the season. And I know you've been working with some of the athletes during this COVID season too, just where you see the program.
Well, like Heck said, in 2019, we were really close as a team and coaches were really close and we just didn't get that one win that we needed. We won 22 other ones, but we just missed one and that kind of hurt us and that wrapped up our season real quick there. So kind of a disappointment, but like Hank said, the whole season was really successful. A lot of guys are all moving on. Most of them are to bigger, better things or programs. So I think we're just in the market and this next year is just going to be a lot of hard work. A lot of guys who are committed and driven and just want to get better and put in the effort. And I think next year, if we can play, which I hope we can, it's going to be a lot of hard work and 100% and just keep giving her running, sprinting, everything like that. A lot of rebounding, all that kind of mentality. So that's where it's going this year with COVID. It's been extremely difficult. We finally got to kind of start doing 10 guys in the gym for the last 2 weeks, and now we're on a whole new shutdown again. So the one-on-one has been good, but it's not the same, right? It's a lot of individual skill, and it's all about the team when it comes to us Kodiaks. And if we can't practice together, it's not as beneficial as practicing individually. So we're just waiting for the day we can all get back in there together.
Absolutely. And I'm sure we'll touch on kind of this COVID season later on in the webinar. But for now, I'll hand it over to Todd for our next round of questions.
All right. Well, we're going to switch gears a little bit and go to the student athletes. So we'll give all 4 of you a chance to jump in here. Who do I want to pick on first is probably the best question. I guess I started talking a little bit of smack to Jackson, so we'll go to him first. Jackson, can you tell me or our visiting attendees about how you balance the responsibilities of both school and playing sports?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, when you talk about being a student athlete, everybody always says the student part comes first. So that's, for me, a big part of being a Kodiak athlete is trying to do as best as I can in my academic life. And, when you have different kind of obstacles or challenges, I think the college has a lot of good programs set up, like the Learning Cafe, to kind of give you that guidance if you need it. For me personally, I've been in college for 5 years now, so I kind of have it down about how I'm going to balance my school and basketball. But, there's lots of services available, or, coaches are always there. You're able to talk to your teammates about what kind of stuff they're doing to to stay on top of your schoolwork and at the same time be able to be focused in your sport. So yeah, I think it's just with the opportunities that the college provides, it's been pretty easy, but yeah, there's obviously sometimes a struggle, but for the most part, it's been good.
Appreciate that. And good shout out to the Learning Cafe. We adjusted the name to that this year. It's now the Kodiak Academic Success Team. A little bit of a revamp, and we're always looking to adapt and adjust to that. But any incoming first-year athlete with the Kodiaks, it is a requirement to attend that, and it's a really good transitional program. So thanks for that, Jackson. All right, Kirsten, your turn.
Okay. I think for me, when I came into college, I chose the college because of the program that I wanted to take. And I was told that, yeah, it's going to be really tough. You're going to go into a really tough program. And yeah, it just was a lot of prioritizing of time. And I was extremely blessed to live at home and have my family, help me through a lot of that stuff. Like maybe if I was too stressed to cook a meal or, do chores or something like that, I didn't have to worry about that extra kind of stuff. But for sure, the college was incredibly helpful. I came from a school that didn't have any of those kind of learning supports. It was kind of like, hey, you're on your own. And coming to the college was like, oh wow, like people want to help me and they want to read my papers, and yeah, and super awesome teachers who, when you tell them like, hey, I'm on the basketball team, I'm going to miss a couple classes, they're very supportive. They understand, they're there for you if you need notes, or and classmates too are always willing to help me. So yeah, it's just a lot of time management.
Perfect. Okay, so Nick or Matlin, who wants to jump in?
I can jump in.
Slow on that one.
For me, interestingly enough, like being a student athlete has positively impacted my studies way more than when I had all this time. Ironically enough, I've had a tougher time balancing the studies during COVID as opposed to in the middle of the season, because unfortunately, like a lot of student athletes, I'm like a first ballot Hall of Fame procrastinator. I'm pretty bad with it. And during the season, like when you're taking a full course load and you got practices 2 hours a night and you're putting in extra time by yourself, if you're doing that, like you don't have time to procrastinate. They kind of keep each other in check out of necessity. So when I'm in the full swing, when I was in the full swing of the season, and I had all these different responsibilities to take care of, there was really no other option than to get my stuff done on time. So yeah, like I said, they keep each other in check.
Appreciate that. Thanks, sir. Well, we're going to get Matlin on the spot, but we're going to throw a different question at you, Matlin. Yep, I know you probably just had your answer all prepared, but it's about, being a leader on the team. You got to be able to move. You got to be able to adjust. So, Matlin, what advice could you give any high school athletes or transfer athletes to playing post-secondary?
I say if you have the opportunity to do it, go for it, because it is just one of the funnest things to be part of a team, I think. And I feel like you have like 30 to 40 years to work and you don't have much time to play post-secondary sports. So yeah, like if you have the opportunity to do it, I say do it. And also, like, the advice I have to give is if you want to do it, you have to put in the work. You have to like go to the gym and work on a lot of the things that I don't know, you need to work on, like ball handling, shooting. Like if you have one thing you're good at, you're not going to be good enough. So that's my advice, because high school basketball is a lot different than college basketball, and I definitely learned that my very first game at the college. I was a deer in the headlights, but it was fun. So that's my advice.
That's good. And you know what? Playing collegiate sports is a privilege. And so, Matlin, you touched on it. And if you get that opportunity to do so, then definitely jump on it. Jackson, same question.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what Madeline said. Like, obviously, if you're wanting to play post-secondary sports, it's a lot of work. Like, I'm not saying that lightly, but if you really love the game, like for us it's basketball, for another group it's something else, but if you really love the game, it won't matter how much hard work it is, because it will all be worth it no matter what happens. So yeah, that's the best I have. Just like, if you're gonna go in to play post secondary, you got to be all in, because there's so many things that I've learned from this whole experience that, if I didn't decide to play at the college specifically, I would never have had. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I could say. You got to be prepared, but it is worth it. It's all worth it for sure.
Thanks, sir. So Kirsten or Nick, along the same lines, what kind of advice would you give a high school athlete that wants to become a Kodiak?
I can jump in, or Kirsten, if you want to go for it. Good. Okay. If you're a high school student and you want to make it to play post-secondary, at least in my experience, in the off season, you need to surround yourself with players who are twice as good as you. Like, the beginning of the off season, you want to be, it's weird to say it out loud, but you want to be kind of getting cooked. So by the end of the season, you're playing with people who really elevate your game. Like, I can trace back my growth to really, like, one day towards the end of my senior year, when I really had no college prospects, and I was at this place called Athlete Factory in Calgary, which is just like multi-sport working out. And I was talking to a guy who, I mentioned I wanted to play college ball, and he just told me, come out to a run on one Sunday. And I showed up, and I didn't know anyone in the gym. And I later learned that it was like a D1 player, 2 pros, and 3 CCAA All-Canadians. And then me, 17 years old, like 160 pounds, getting eaten alive. And it was brutal. But spending a lot of hours in the gym with guys who I had no business competing with really allowed me to kind of unlock that next level of my game. So yeah, guys who want to come, who want to play at this level, just search out people who are better than you and live in the gym with them.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, that's good. I like it, and it does prepare you for it. Kirsten, you want to jump in on any of that, or?
Yeah, I think a lot of what Nick says I could echo from my own experience. Coming out of high school, by no means was I any good. I had no business playing with the types of people I was playing with, that's for sure. And yeah, but I had a dream to play post-secondary, and to any high school student, if you have a dream, work for it, because I think for me, it's been the biggest experience of my post-secondary career. Is like, I didn't have the skill, but I want to work for it, and so get to it, kind of thing. And don't let that discourage you. I think a lot of people come out of high school, and maybe this sounds kind of rude, but you kind of have to swallow your pride, because coming out of high school, I thought I was pretty good, and then I came to play, and my teammates can testify to that. Deanna can testify to that. I had to swallow my pride big time. And you're working on a team, and you got to get the best you can for your team, kind of thing. And yeah, so just understand that it's a process, and it's okay to fail. Failing is how we learn. And yeah, just if you have a love and a passion for the game, you're going to find success, I think.
It's awesome. Thank you. And so now we'll transition back to the coaches, and Jamin's up.
All right, some really good perspective there for any of our high school student athletes hoping to make that jump within the next year or two, which is awesome. So we'll kind of stay with that theme for our coaches, and we'll start with Deanna and Ken, maybe just talking about recruitment. What does the ideal recruit look like to you? And then maybe a little bit about how you like prospective student athletes to reach out to you. How do you get them? How do they get themselves on your radar?
Ken, you want to start this time?
Sure. So the ideal recruit is 6'6", athletic, and can dunk. Is that good?
It's pretty
No.
straightforward, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, in speaking to Todd's emphasis on the 3 pillars, obviously you need to be a good student and have good work habits in school first, because honestly, you're no good to the program if you flunk out and can't play. So being the student athlete's pretty important. But in terms of recruiting, I you gotta love basketball, because practice can be a grind, and it's a long season. Really, when you're thinking about it, you're starting the middle of September and you're going to, the first part of March or second week in March, and that's a long season. And so you got to love basketball, not just the idea of playing basketball, but the idea of practicing and trying to improve and all those things. The ideal recruit, would also be a good teammate, and it's hard to see that in game film sometimes, but it's better in person, because you can kind of get a good idea of if a player's genuinely happy when somebody else is doing well, and especially playing in the position that they're playing. Are they generally happy for their teammates? Are they a hard worker? Are they a good defender? What kind of basketball IQ do they have? Like, do they pass up a good shot for a great shot? And are they willing to sacrifice for their teammates? Do they do the little things like take the charge, dive after loose balls? All of those things are things that don't get on the stat sheet, but they're extremely important for setting the tone for work ethic for your program. And so there's other things that a player has to sacrifice, and one of those is, are they willing to accept a role? I mean, let's face it, when you come out of high school and you're good enough to play post-secondary, you've probably been the star on your team. And then what does that look like when you come to a program full of kids that are like you, or maybe they're a little bit better? Are you able to handle the role? So those are just some things in terms of what we look for in a recruit. And this year's been tough, and I'll pass it on to Deanna to take it from there.
Yeah, I just echo all the same things that Ken states. One of the big things that you'll hear if you've attended a couple of these seminars already, if you go back and watch our first coaches seminar that we had, that was all about the culture of the college athletic program as a whole, not just specifically, the basketball programs. You hear that we look for culture kids that are going to make our program better that way. I could coach 100 kids who have the best talent in the entire world, but if they don't want to work hard, if they don't want to show up, if they don't want to, if they just kind of live with what they already have, that's hard as a coach, and we don't really like coaching those kids. We want a kid who's going to show up, who's going to work hard. And it's a lot easier for me to teach you skills than it is for me to teach you how to work hard. As far as contacting us, email is usually the best. If I know my phone number is on the website. I've never really gotten a phone call before or a text message. I think phone calls are out of this generation's realm of comfortability, but emails work, text messages. I've had people find me on Instagram and message me that way. Like, if you're persistent, that's not always the worst thing in the world. But in COVID times, it's hard sometimes, because we want you in the gym. We want to see you with the players that we have, right? We want to compare you against where's Matlin at and Kirsten are at. Like we have a guard and a post on the call. Like we want to see you compete against them, right? They're two of our best players in those positions. We want to see you there. And so that's hard right now. So game film's always good. Yeah, just staying in contact and opening it up for, you know, as we progress through these times, that hopefully one day we can, you know, get recruits in the gym again.
Absolutely. And knowing it is difficult, I have put the recruitment form, the link in the chat. So for any of the prospective athletes with us here tonight, that's a great kind of first step to get in touch with the coaches. And if you do submit a form there, we forward it on to the coaches. They'll get back to you. So same kind of question for Coach Heggie and Taylor as well, jumping in. So Coach Heggie, kind of the same thing. What do you look for in your, the ideal recruit for your program, and how do you encourage students to kind of get in touch with you?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind today when I looked over this question was that recruit needs to want to be a Kodiak, whether the player's recruiting me, our program, or where I'm recruiting the player. At the end of the day, when it comes down to the crunch, they need to want to be here. So that's huge. We also play a certain style of basketball, and the recruit needs to know the style that you play, because he may not fit your style. You may think he does, but he may not want to do that, right? I like to recruit skill at all 5 positions, right? I don't just look at it for a point guard, this year we're really looking for 4s and 5s, but we're still looking at positions 1, 2, and 3 as well. Like Ken touched on this, are you coachable? Are you a good teammate? Are you respectful? Are you hardworking? Student-wise, if they can get into college, right? They might be an A student or a C or even a C-D, but if they can get in, we can help them with our programs, and we've shown that. How do I encourage them to get in touch with me? Was that the second part of the question? I think so.
Yeah, just some of the ways, whether it's video or email, what kind of things get them on your radar?
Well, a lot of what's going on today is email with video, right? And I pretty much watch every video, or I pass it over to Taylor. Our recruit forms that you and Todd set out are awesome. I always look at those. Do I prefer them reaching out using their, I prefer them reaching out, but they also got to use their network, and their network means their coaches or their mentors or their club coaches or some teammates that maybe have come before them. For example, Nick out of Calgary, if Nick knows a player that's recruited me, I might ask Nick some questions, and his friend might ask Nick some questions, vice versa, right? So that type of is good too. And one thing, and I'll end on this, the last thing is what coaches and players have to be careful with is over texting. And coaches were guilty of this as well. So we're not off the books on this one. It's so easy just to go back and forth and have a text conversation, but you need to get on the phone, or you need to get into a Zoom call, which I'm actually in the process of recruiting some international players, and I'm going to set up some Zoom calls so we can talk face to face. I think one's on the call tonight. His name's Mirza. I think he's on the call still. He texted me, he said he might have to go to bed because it's 2:00 in the morning, but Mirza sent video and we watched it, me and Taylor, and we talked, and we're progressing along. So, and my battery's gone to 20% now, so we're not in trouble yet.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I'm having a good time tonight. I don't know. This is fun. Any other question?
You gotta love talking hoops. I do see Mirza on
Taylor,
the call,
Taylor, let's go.
Well, thank you, Mirza, for coming. If it is 2 a.m., that is great commitment. I see the name on there. So thank you for attending. If you do have a question, anyone in the audience, now's the time. Let's get it in with about 15 minutes to go here. Just following up, TJ Heggie said he does send you some video maybe what kind of video, what things are you looking at? When you're getting video for recruiting purposes.
Well, first of all, Hags is reading all my notes I made today and sent him.
Oh,
That's
yeah, right.
credit. No, a lot of the video that I get or Hags gets and he sends me, a lot of it is highlight stuff. So it's all about just, shooting threes and making shots. And that's important, of course, but I'm looking for the other plays. Like if you throw some charges in there or the ability to pass or see the floor, some defensive stuff, that's kind of what I look for in those films, because at the end of the day, you can always work on your shot, but if you don't have that basketball IQ, it's tough to put you in any situations on the court when you're playing a team game. And then the rest of it, good recruit. Hags covered most of it. Dee and Ken covered a lot of it. So all the same stuff on our end. And we're always, me and Coach Hags are always talking about different recruits, different players, and seeing how if they'll fit into kind of what we're trying to build and move forward with. I'll keep it short so we can keep moving.
No, that's perfect. So before we go back to the student athlete panel here, maybe I'll throw it to Todd, and maybe just saying we did touch on a few of the the academic side. So maybe if you can talk a bit about just the academic advisor available, and we also have a few members of our recruitment team on board. Maybe I don't know if you want to put them on the spot to say hi, but maybe we can work that in.
Well, all about being a good college employee, got to be able to think on your feet. So we're going to put Chelsea and Sarah, whoever wants to jump in. Again, two of our new recruiters, college recruiters on campus, but is there anything you'd like to tell some of the prospective student athletes here or say to them?
Some things that they can look forward, that they can enjoy here, with the athletics, it's like the support, expand on that a little bit more. Because you guys have touched, done a great job touching on, the athletics and like the support of it. But I like from my experiences that the overall community at the college is an environment that encourages every level that's the best of you. That's your athletics, that's your academics, but it's also like your social aspects, your mental health. I am so impressed with how you guys have always been focused about the mental and emotional well-being of our students, and including our athletes, to make sure that they are mentally strong, just as physically strong they are for the game. And I think that's probably one of the greatest highlights about the college that I could add.
Your turn, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having us and inviting us tonight. That was great to listen to you guys speak about the athletes. Like, we love the Kodiaks. We're all Kodiaks culture, but if you guys want to find like a program that complements your athletic career, like let me or Chelsea know. We can talk to you about a couple of programs that that would really work with your athletic career. And yeah, thank you again for having us. We really enjoy this.
That's perfect. And I do recommend checking out our future students page, lethbridgecollege.ca. You'll see the tab there. You can live chat with our recruitment team here. So if you do have questions on the academic side, by all means, feel free to reach out. You talk about culture and you see the hashtag We're All Kodiaks everywhere on campus. And I kind of want to throw this out to the student athletes. Look, Todd's background there is from championships. So maybe we'll go to Jackson, who played in front of some pretty crazy crowds at that championship a few years ago now. But just what does it mean to you to be, part of a pretty cool culture here at the college?
Like, not even just with basketball, with every sport, I feel like there's a super high level of support from college students, from the community. And then specifically with basketball, like Southern Alberta has such a deep rooted history with the game. And that is like super evident at all of our games. The stands are always packed and, there's posters up around the school all the time. It really feels like an environment where athletics is valued, and it's also obviously accompanied with the academic side. So there's so many things I could say. It's like something you really have to experience, like playing in front of those big crowds. that's every basketball player's favorite thing to do, play in front of a packed gym. So yeah, I think it's just something you got to experience really, but it is amazing for sure.
Absolutely. We'll throw the same question to Kirsten. Just talk about some of the crowds you get to play in front of, the Kodiaks culture, the family that you feel within your team, and then also with the other sports and interaction with the other teams as well.
Oh yeah. I think I think I talked about this on the last webinar, but I think the culture at the community or the culture at the college is just amazing. I truly enjoy, like, I'm walking through maybe, classmates, or you're just walking through the hallways, and people recognize you because they're like, oh, I watched you guys play this weekend, or they see a picture of you up on a billboard, and you feel just a little special, and it's kind of nice. Sorry, what was the other part of it? And with the within your team too, I was gonna mention this too, like, coming from high school, I had a lot of people tell me, like, oh, you're not going to be as close to your college teammates, like, if you do get to play as your high school teammates. And I've not had that experience whatsoever. I feel like, yeah, they're like my family, and going to practice is the best part of my day always. And my teammates think I'm kind of crazy, but I love going and competing for 2 hours, and I love seeing my girls and my coach, and Josie's always a plus, of course. And just I was listening to the soccer webinar as well. They're just, they talk about how, you're talking to, they're traveling with the men's team. I truly enjoy watching other teams succeed. Like, the soccer teams and the futsal teams have had an amazing run. The boys obviously had an amazing run last season. Both the volleyball teams as well, and the track teams are just dominant. And I don't thoroughly enjoy watching track, but I like seeing them succeed. So I think, even students supporting students is awesome. And when I listen to the stands, I see soccer girls or guys there, or volleyball girls and guys there. Just it makes me proud of being in the community that we get to play with.
No, that's awesome. And kind of on that family note, and seeing your team, still able to see your team to some degree this year with those training sessions and whatnot. So we'll go to Nick, and maybe just talk a little bit about this pandemic season, and what's been the biggest challenge for you, and how are you keeping motivated and keeping a positive mindset to be ready once games eventually do return.
Yeah. It's just been I'll call it an exercise in patience, just kind of being disconnected from the game. On top of COVID, I tore a couple ligaments in my knee, so I had to come home and get surgery. So I'm just rehabbing that. So not being able to play and being away from the team is tough, but just knowing that everyone's going to grow from this experience, right? Whether it's dealing with COVID or dealing with injury, like, it's just, you're going to come out eager to work twice as hard as you did the year before. So as long as we've been off the court, it's just going to make us work that much harder when we're back on it. So that kind of keeps me motivated.
No, that's awesome. And we'll throw the same question to you, Matlin. Just your experience this year pushing through a COVID season, and any advice you have for athletes that are continuing to train through this kind of crazy time.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been really hard, like, because we obviously thought we were gonna have a season, and then we didn't, and then we got our hopes up again for like some games, and then they didn't happen just because of all the restrictions and all the new things coming out, and you don't really know what the future is like. So it is really hard to like stay motivated and stuff. And like, while we were having practices and stuff, when we don't have games, it's just, I don't know, it's just different. Like, you don't have really anything to look forward to. But at the same time, you just have to think that, like, you're putting in the work and you're going to get better. And, like, why is Deanna laughing?
That's my fault, Madeline. Sorry.
Okay, anyway. Um, And like just to know that we're getting better. Like I don't know if other teams are practicing like we are and stuff, but we just want to come out from this like even stronger than like when we went into it. So I don't know, that's what keeps me motivated is I just want to like not lose it because it's easy to get out of shape and easy to like I don't know, lose your form or whatever. Like so to just like keep doing one-on-one practicing or if you have access to a gym at all, like just like even outside shooting, I don't know, just like staying with it is what's motivating me.
No, that's great. And I can speak for all Kodiaks fans out there. We can't wait to get back in the Val Mattioti Gymnasium and watch some live action. It's been long overdue. Time flies when you're talking hoops. It's almost 8 o'clock, which kind of is our signal to wrap up. So I want to thank everyone again. We do have door prizes. Todd, we have 4 door prizes to give away, which matches the number of attendees, external anyways, that we have. So we'll make sure we get your emails out and get your addresses, and we'll, I believe they're Kodiak's bookstore swag items. Is that right, Todd? So we'll make sure we hook you up with that. So before we close, just some last words here from our coaching staff, and maybe we'll start with Deanna. I know it might be getting closer to bedtime there for Joss, but any closing words and things you want to say out to our attendees here?
I just think about our, like we talked culture so much. You'll hear in all the programs. And I just think like I've been a part of a lot of really big moments in the women's basketball program, but I still think my favorite moment as a Kodiak is being on the bus headed to Saskatchewan, and Jetton tells Haggy and I that the volleyball boys need our help. They're in the middle of their third set and they're down. Pegs and I looked at each other and said, all right, let's go. We're in Medicine Hat right now. And that's where their championships were. And we walked in with an additional 40 people. Todd's sitting up at the top of the bleachers, having no idea we're showing up. And we show up to support our men's volleyball team in playoffs. And that's what Kodiaks are. So that's just that moment is, I think, one of the best descriptions of all our programs and our athletics as a whole.
Yeah, that was a truly unforgettable moment. It's my favorite Kodiaks memory is like that Avengers Assemble moment, and just incredible. Ken, any closing remarks from you?
Well, again, I just think that in talking to future Kodiaks, if you want to be part of something and want to be a Kodiak, take the opportunity to get a hold of us. And I think all of us are in this because we've had those experiences ourselves. We've either played or been part of a team at some point in our lives. And when I look back on my favorite time in my life, it was playing post-secondary. And that's why I've stayed with coaching, because it's the relationships you build with teammates and players. And so yeah, if you got an inkling that you want to play post-secondary, just do all you can to get here, because it's a wonderful experience, and it's a wonderful culture, as Deanna has mentioned, to be supporting other teams and being a Kodiak. So there you go.
No, that's great. Taylor, any last thoughts that you want to close out on?
If you want to come play for us, bring your running shoes, because we got a lot of 60s to get going on here when we get back. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, be a Kodiak for sure. Like I said, I've been part of the program for 10 years and I can't seem to leave. So whatever's going on there is good. And trust me, you want to join it. You want to be a part of it, because it's always fun and we're competitive and we have a great time. And it's all about learning and growing for life. So come join the team. I'll let Hags finish it off then.
That's what I was thinking. Gotta end with Coach Heggie.
Mute though, Hags, eh?
And
You
he's
don't
on.
have to end with me. You don't have to end with me. But there was a question because Deanna hit on the culture, and I remember that trip. It was awesome. And, you know, on a personal level, when my girls played for the Kodiak women's team, I was able to travel with the team on a couple of occasions. And one of the highlights of that for me was doing color at the women's playoff championships in Fort Mac. It was just, I couldn't believe how fun it was. I was like scared to do it, and I almost wimped out, and then I just did it, and I thought, man, that was so fun. And I remember those days very, very fondly. That's a connection that I really are fond of, and it's been a good ride. I look forward to another several years, and like TJ said, the culture is awesome. Kenny and I had a chance to be teammates at the U of L years ago, and we both came from the Kodiak program and ended up with the Horns, and so we go a long ways back. So it's a good place to be, and like TJ said, we have a good time, and that's part of it. If you can't come to practice as a coach and have a good time and enjoy yourself, then maybe you should step aside and you know, that's where I'm at. I really enjoy this. So thanks for having us tonight, Jamin and Todd and everybody else on the call.
No, it was our pleasure. Thank you so much to our coaching staff and our student athletes for joining us and talking a little hoops on a Wednesday night. Thank you to all our Kodiaks fans and attendees for stopping by and enjoying this with us. Some really great perspective that I'll be able to clip on the recording, and we'll share that out too in the coming weeks. So I think behalf on Todd, unless you have anything else to say, Todd, thank you all for joining us. Looking forward to connecting with our cross country and indoor track team next week, same time next Wednesday. So until then, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you later.